Hey, it's Kilobyte here on a kind of nasty wet day, but I am expecting a package today that contains my Good-Win-Racing Race exhaust, and I'm getting the car ready so that when it arrives I can throw it on. And this will be a video on the install and have very short clip on the at least some sound, since it won't be broken in. I'm not doing the full sound clip yet, but should be fun. Got the car backed up on the ramps, and now I'm waiting and waiting and waiting, impatiently waiting. Is it here yet? Oh, alright, I'll be back. And we're back. If you'll notice, the car is no longer wet. It's very dirty. It's sunny, but I got a package. No, I didn't get the package on the day it was supposed to come. Yeah, it was a few days later. Thank you, FedEx, for screwing that up. But I got it, and it's a beautiful day out today, so we will get this thing on and do a startup, see what it sounds like. So here we are under the car. You're going to need, this is a 14 mil. You're going to need either a 14 mil deep socket or an open end, like so. I highly suggest hitting this end with a PB blaster, a penetrant oil of some sort. Not, WD-40 is not a penetrant. Use a real penetrant. Try to break the corrosion and stuff loose here. Spray that on at least an hour before you start working. Mine is at 19, so it's quite clean still. Focus. So I'm hoping they won't be too bad, but I still hit it with the PB blaster. I also hit the front ones, and because they'll also have to come off. The other tools you're gonna need, you can use some soapy water or WD-40, some sort of lubricant on these when you're going to slide them out. So as you can see, one of them is out. That is this one. You can kind of see how it looks. And of course the nut is stuck on the end of this one. And on this one, the nut came loose, but this is stuck in here. So we're going to have to break these loose. You can also see that's what the original gasket looks like. When you're ready to pull it off, you want to spray this side and this side with soapy water or WD-40 or something that'll lubricate it. Then twist like so. I suggest hitting all four of them with your lubricant, then start twisting, and it will break loose. You'll see it start twisting. That will then allow you, alright, it's hard to do keeping it on the frame of the camera. That will then allow you to start forcing it off. And I'm not going to be able to do this with one hand, but that's a tip on getting these loose. Break them loose, going front to back, then you can slide them off. And I got to get some more lubricant on this anyway. It looks like it's dried off some. So here are the two mufflers, and yes, the old one still has that bolt sticking out through it, and I got some penetrant on it, hoping that'll help loosen it. May have to use some heat or something. The vice grips and stuff did not work. I mean, I could butcher it a little more and maybe they would, but anyway. old flange. Give you some idea, it's a 2-inch pipe. And it's roughly, you know, a little more than 2.5 inch wide on the flange opening. The race, it's a 2.5 inch outside diameter pipe. And the flange is quite a bit bigger, but the stock gasket should work fine for it. The stock, of course, has the straight cut twin tips. It's much bigger, heavier, and quieter. The race, much smaller, lighter, slant cut, Roadster Sport on the top. Nothing like a torch and some vice grips to have to get a bolt off. Tell you what, the thing was tight. And what you got to do is heat the outside surface, so the bolt that's welded in the back of that flange, you heat around it, not the bolt that goes, not the bolt that goes into it. So do the nut that's welded onto the back of the flange with some heat around it. Get your vice grips out, start cranking. If you're wondering why I didn't use the 2 nut trick, well, because the nut on the other one is stuck on it. Couldn't get it off. And I don't have another one that fits, of all things. So I had to do it this way. Putting the axle back exhaust on the muffler, I started on the driver's side, the left side, and got that worked in. Make sure you get it through past the wide end. That'll hold it on. And then we go over to the passenger side and slid those in one at a time. It's pretty simple. This is such a light exhaust. So I've threaded these in. They're just finger tight right now. I'm going to make sure the tailpipe is where I want it. Then I'm going to start tightening them and check, tighten some more, and eventually I'll have them tight. I'm going to have them good and snug. If you want to look up the torque spec, torque them to whatever they're supposed to be, that's fine. I am snugging mine up good and tight and not over tighten them. So this joint, once you have them on in the rubber hangers, and you connect this joint, you use this joint to control the height of the tailpipe. So if you need your tailpipe to be higher, you pull down on this, that'll raise the tailpipe. You push up on this, that'll lower the tailpipe. That's how you adjust the height. So if you don't like where your tailpipe is, adjust it here. One other thing I'll point out, the spring is not quite as compressed as on the stock exhaust. I don't think that is going to be an issue. It's still compressed some, and I'm not hearing or feeling air coming out of this. Now there was some moisture that leaked out of it, so you know, it's not like it's airtight, because it's certainly not watertight. But with the race muffler, it's certainly not a problem. If it became an issue, what you would do is put a washer either on this end or this end of the spring. It needs to be big enough on the inside to go over the bolt here, and large enough on the outside to where the spring, it pushes the spring in. If yours is not tight enough, add a washer or two, or however many it takes to compress this spring enough to where it's holding it tight. So if you have a leak here, that's how you fix it. If this is already tightened as much as that bolt will allow you to do, then you need to add washers on the inside between the bolt and the spring, most likely, or maybe on the flange side, but I'm thinking the bolt's probably the better side. So who's ready to hear what it sounds like first time starting up? So this is a cold startup on the stock 19 muffler with a couple thousand miles on it. So hopefully you could tell the difference between the stock super quiet and the Good-Win-Racing RoadsterSport Race. I definitely prefer the Race, although that's the first time starting it up. We'll have to let it break in, and then we'll do a video so you can actually hear the sound while driving once it's broke in. So hopefully this was helpful. If so, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'm gonna let this run, let it warm up, and then I'm gonna retighten the bolts because it looks like some moisture's coming out of there, which might indicate that there's a leak. So, God bless. Yeah, something you might notice. I mentioned that it had been a couple days because the exhaust didn't get here when they said it would, and I had started the introduction and stuff expecting the package to be here when they said it would be, since I had to sign for it and they asked me to be here. Well, I forgot that I had the Kilbyte plate on the back taped just like this and drove it a little less than 100 miles and thankfully it never fell off and I never got pulled over. Yay. But now it's all dirty. Hopefully it's showing on the video. I thought that was pretty funny.